We had an economy that was in a state of calamity and catastrophe. President Trump's policy of reshoring our supply chains.
That's Fox News. I don't know if you can hear in the background the Fox News pundit. And for those who are listening audio only, this is the Nazi Jew Stephen Miller, who is a very disturbed person. They're all fucking crazy. They're all nuts. They're all hateful, self-loathing, disgusting people who hate America. I hate to say it. I'm not just slinging pejoratives, but know them by their fruits. Know them by what they do and the company they keep. They hate America. They hate our allies. They hate, they hate freedom. Who would do this to a country they love? You know? Who would do this to a people? Who would fire Americans and in the middle of and not just fire Americans, but put all these unqualified morons at the helm of agencies that they've been tasked primarily to destroy. While, I mean, the malpractice going on across the board is clear to everybody who's not a maggot, I guess. But yeah, this is they're evil. They're evil.
We had an economy that was in a state of calamity and catastrophe. President Trump's policy of reshoring our supply chains, pushing for total expensing of capital gains, eliminating regulation, eliminating intrusive green new scam environmental rules.
See, just make up names. Green new scam, eliminate regulations, low taxes on the rich. Of course, they just say, get rid of taxes. But what they're talking about are taxes on the rich. And they just keep repeating because there's no evidence, of course, as we know. Well, we do know that funneling money to the top does not trickle down. It doesn't create an economy that works for all. That's not, it's all bullshit. We have the numbers on that, but we also have the numbers on regulation. They're all about, regulations suck. Well, no, regulations are written in blood. That's the old saying. Because people died for regulations. It's not like everybody's sitting around going, I think I'll put a fucking regulation on that. It's regulations are the byproduct of hard learned lessons. So they don't, but do you think they want to consider what their the impact on the community, on the country? They want to make a buck. If they can make $10 more by dumping their poison into our public wherever, into the public commons, into our environment. Make America great again. $20. All that matters is $1. Give me $1. You got $1 more? I mean, they're so disgusting. That's why everything about them. I don't know if you've noticed, they're all wearing their crosses now. They're big, Nancy Mace, she's got giant crosses on her ears, around her neck. All of them wearing the torture device of the savior they pretend to worship around their necks. And what's her name? Caroline Leave It Alone says that, I'm sure it was leaked or somehow she wanted it out there in the public, that she gets on her knees, I suppose to pray. That's what I'm assuming. Every time she steps, before she steps into the White House press room, she gets on her knees and prays. So, and then she goes right out there and she lies. She lies through her teeth about things she knows nothing about. She'll just lie. She's talking to people who are, basically she's talking to her betters, that's for sure. She's talking to people who have a clue, probably. Not everybody. Not the maggots who are in there. Not Perjury Trader Green's boyfriend. But They go in and they pretend to love Jesus while they lie and they hurt people without even a second thought. How do you do that? How do you say, oh, waste, fraud, and abuse? This is waste, fraud, and abuse. And then, firing 80,000 people, 10,000 here, 50,000 there, whatever, 10,000 there, making America suck, making us a third world nation, right? They're basically dragging us back to where we are a developing nation, right? Because we're going to have to develop all of the systems that they're destroying. Again, we're going to have to put them back in place. The American people, who doesn't hate waste, fraud, and abuse, right? But that's not what this is about, of course. They're full of shit. And if they weren't full of shit, we'd see the receipts. We'd see all of the waste, fraud, and abuse. But waste, fraud, and abuse isn't people. People deserve a living wage. And they deserve, if we're a functioning democracy, if we're a shining city on a hill, then we should have a bureaucracy that functions to a high standard. That when you call Social Security, they pick up on the first ring. That's what a shining city on a hill looks like. When you call Medicare, they pick up on the first ring. They get to the bottom of your problem. They help you. That's what a functioning society does, that respects each other, that promotes the general welfare. Hold on, Tara Jr., go away. Sit down. He's trying to produce the show. No, go lay down. Go lay down. Go lay down. All right.
Tax cut in American history and reducing taxes.
Oh my God. Isn't he? Oh, how can he fucking stand himself? I wonder. How? Who is his wife? He's got a wife, apparently. They're all, of course she's a maggot, but who wants to have him on top of them?
Biggest, broadest tax cut in American history and reducing
what
taxes.
What the fuck are you
American
talking
workers,
about?
Ending taxes on tips, ending taxes on overtime, ending taxes on Social Security.
Making roses bloom from our asses. Right? Ending taxes on tips, ending taxes on this. See, they have no respect for the people they pretend, to represent. All the idiots, the maggots that go to his rallies, and in fact, I wanted to check in on the conservative Reddit page. I thought we could do it together in a little bit, but because I want to see what they're saying, and because the fact is, no one hates them. No one hates the people that vote for Trump than Trump and the Trump administration, than the Republicans. No one hates their constituents more than the Republicans do, because they do nothing for them. And in fact, if they did nothing for them, that would be an improvement. They do worse than nothing. They harm them. They deliberately harm them. They lie to them. They pour hate into their empty brains. They set them off. They wind them up with all kinds of lies. They turn them against their fellow Americans and the American experiment itself for years. That's why we're at this point.